and everyone calls me weird.
Well, I'm not sure saying dancing at work is really...
I mean, no, I just do little shimmies like this. And like get right in the girls' faces and just go shimmy, shimmy, shimmy. And they're like, you're the weirdest. And I'm like, yeah, I know.
You're so weird.
But work wouldn't be as fun if I wasn't. Hello.
You know what I get to say? Happy birthday! Yeah.
Yeah, let's get the loudness out of the way. No, thank you.
Yeah. So now you're old.
Now I'm old.
Yeah.
I mean, no, I'm still fairly young. 34, thanks.
I think that all the time because, like, as I'm sure, like, people do that to you. And, like, once you become an adult, they treat you like you're, like, 50 already. And then, like, every birthday I have, I'm like, oh, I got older, and my brain triggers being like, oh, you're older, and then I start to think about stepwise of like my parents are like adults now.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, yeah, my dad when he was 35 was like doing this. I'm not even that old. It's not even that big a deal.
I don't think my brain doesn't work that way in it, but it's like, I don't know, I just see it as like another year of experience that I'm learning. It's not that I'm getting old. I have I'm not getting old mentality.
I tried to.
Like Kevin calls himself old all the time.
You're good. Come on. I was just making sure.
You're just checking. Kevin calls himself old all the time. I'm like, you can't say that, because if you say that, then I'm on my way, and that's not it. And if you're gonna squawk the whole time, that's gonna put a vibe on this, silly. Can you play?
Squawky.
Yeah, play. Anyways, so I got older yesterday.
Did you reset this year?
Did I reset?
Yeah.
In what way?
Like yourself? Like we did last year? And then now this year is...
Yeah, I kind of set out like an intention. It's in my calendar. It was for yesterday. Like a couple of them. I want to feel stronger in my body. I want to do one of the craft fairs, or not craft fairs, but the wellness fairs that I've been to last summer. And there's something else now that I can't remember. I haven't really been in the vibe of it the last 12 hours, 24 hours now. No, it was just yesterday at 4. So 12 hours. I've just been drained in a different energy, and that's par for core, like right on the money for my birthday. So it's just like a normal year.
Things happen. Start out stress. Good times.
Yeah. But like, it's all right. I'll get over it. I'll move on. I'll start fresh. Have been reading a lot, so that's been...
It's good.
A good distraction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
So, did you do anything fun for your birthday?
My mom's birthday is 2 days before mine, so we always usually do something together as a family to like get together for that. And then my niece has a birthday in the beginning of the month, so this year my mom decided to get us together last weekend for like a big birthday dinner and a reveal, because she had a big project she had been working on the last couple months for me.
That's cool.
Yeah, and it was gorgeous, and I can't wait till it's here to show you. It's an Alice in Wonderland dresser that she did.
That's cool.
And it's fucking epic. It looks so beautiful. My mom's got a lot of real talent when it comes to that kind of stuff, and I was super stoked for it. But yeah, we had a party, and that was really cool. Good to be around everyone. I worked for my birthday because I didn't think ahead and take off for it. And plus, it's like our busiest day of the week. It's taco day. And
so why not?
I'm just like, no, I'll work. I enjoy working on Thursdays. It's fine. So I worked, and yeah, it was a day. That's how I celebrated. I wanted to go out to eat. I had the idea last weekend because I thought I was ahead on some bills, and like where I was at for my budget wise. So I was like, I want to go for like a nice steak dinner or like a supper club atmosphere because it's been a while since we did that, and we were looking at menus and all the things, and then all the really cold weather this week. Yeah, my starter was eating shit. So my car visited the mechanic because it was too cold for my husband to fix it. Like I just like there was no thought about it, and I just told him. I was like, my car's at the mechanic. Like you really can't be mad because it's too cold.
Yeah.
You don't have the space, the heated space to do it, so I'm paying for it to be done. And he's like, okay.
That's a very adult decision of you.
It was. It was. And it cost me dinner.
Oh.
Which is fine. I rolled with it. I went in my budget to get a new idea for dinner. I rolled with the changes like I was supposed to. And that still didn't happen. So it's cool. I hung out at home.
I had an idea for my birthday.
Yeah.
Last night that I thought was a really good idea. I want to do a podcast for my birthday.
Oh.
I want people to ask me questions, and I want to drink through.
That's not
it would be so fun.
That is not it.
It would be so fun.
But a live podcast where people could ask you questions, that would be fun. But you getting shitty on top of it would not be fun.
Why not? I'm fun. I'm not a shitty person when I get drunk, so it's fun. It's fun.
It is.
Plus, people would be able to ask me questions that's not like in this kind of setting. It would just be like, ask me anything. Yeah. But I don't think the live thing would really work though, because there's not enough people that watch it. So it would have to be people there that actually like want to ask questions and want to do things, and then but I thought that'd be really fun.
That'd be fun.
Yeah. I got a new hat.
I see that.
Yeah. Cheryl made me a cat hat.
That's pretty cool. I like the skulls in it.
Yeah. It's nice. They're kitty skulls.
Sick.
It's nice.
It's nice.
It's cute.
Nice.
It reminds me of, this is a deep cut for people that know what I'm talking about. It reminds me of Johnny Tsunami.
Yes.
With his friend who's a snowboarder. That's what it reminds me of. It makes me happy.
Nice.
And I got glasses. I got blue glasses this time.
I see that.
Blue glasses.
Don't forget your orange ones.
Yeah. I thought about it directly after I left here.
No, Kevin came downstairs. I was putting Bird away, and he's like, Zach forgot his glasses. And I was like, well, he's going to miss those.
So,
he'll get them next time.
What do you want to talk about? What's on your mind?
I had a really interesting thing happen to me last week. Like, mistaken identity and a police report.
Wow.
And an insurance claim for an accident that wasn't mine.
Are you Jason Bourne?
Oh, no.
Did they find out your secret identity?
No, but it was so stupid, and like another 12-hour round of stress that was not for me. I didn't need. It was a challenge. I rose to the occasion. Kevin said he really wished he was a fly on the wall the entire day because I chewed out a lot of people in a calmly fashion. Except like the automated services. That was just channel me to an agent, please.
Give me
No, I'm not answering your questions. Give me a real person to talk to, please.
Give me a human.
Thanks. Okay, so yeah, I got a letter 2 weekends ago in the mail from State Farm saying there was an incident on this date in December and they would like to question me about it. And I'm like, well, that's weird. Possibly a scam. So, okay. I emailed it to my insurance lady, and she is also from State Farm. And I was like, can you just like make sure this is legit
before I go down this
before I go and call this number and try and figure out what's going on? And she's like, well, that's a legit agent, so you should probably give him a call and see what's up. And I was like, okay. Well, at the same time she got back to me, I was at work. And my anxiety was like, well, shoot, I got to put this out till after work. That wasn't a thing. Jenny, like, we were slow, so Jenny let me make the call. And they happened to tell me that I was apparently driving this other person's car.
Cool.
When I had gotten into an accident. They have a police report.
From you?
No, from APD.
Cool.
That I was the person in said crash. And I was like, that's really funny. Because looking back in my calendar, I didn't even work that day, which means the only thing I did, Dilly.
And I don't remember being in a crash.
Right. I was like, I wasn't in a crash. I wasn't driving anyone else's car. And I only brought my daughter to school that day. And they're like, well, ma'am, let me talk to my manager and I'll give you a call back. And I was like, yeah, okay. Okay.
Sounds fun.
I'm just like really confused. But I learned a couple things, right, about myself on this date. So I'm sitting there pondering all through work. And then it finally strikes me to message my mother-in-law.
I learned a lot about myself. Sorry, that was funny.
She works at a place.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly could have had access to this. Might have. I thought curiosity struck that she could access the police report or at least get me a copy of it so I could see what I was working with, right? She says she can't, and I was like, okay, that's fine. And I explained what's going on, and she's like, that's really weird. She's like, you should call the insurance company back, but don't really give them anything. I was like, I can't really give them anything. Like, I don't know anything.
Because I wasn't
there. She's like, I'm really sorry you're going through this. Like, okay. So I get off the phone with her, and I was like, well, if there's a police report, there's likely something on my CCAP, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I CCAP myself because I'm very fine with that process. Like, I know it. And sure enough, there's a case that's been processed through the court system under my name that I didn't attend.
Cool.
But it was processed. And it was sealed. And I'm like, the fuck is going on? And this is like my last hour of work.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I have no idea. Who has my identity right now? What is going on? Mm-hmm. So I try and I call the insurance company back. And by the time I get through to them, I'm sitting kitty corner from the cop shop because that was my next option, was to go there and start asking questions. So the insurance lady was like, oh yeah, the other guy made a note here. They can't do anything because your name is on the police report. So we either have to question you or you have to talk to the police and get this squared up. And I was like, but I didn't do anything.
I don't think you understand.
I
wasn't there.
I was like, but okay. I was like, the other gentleman told me he was going to call me back after he talked to someone. I was like, I'm sitting in front of the cop shop. I'm about ready to walk in. You give me a callback time. I would like a time frame here. And she's like, you give me an hour. I was like, okay.
I will sit here
in an hour. Not even. It was just, I needed to know she was willing to commit to a time. So if she hadn't called me back, I was going to call and raise hell.
Mm-hmm.
Because within an hour, I should have at least some sort of idea of maybe what's going on. So I hang up with her and I walk into the cop shop. And I'm stressed. And I walk up to the front desk and I've never been in the cop shop. Mind you, I've always like done the court thing, but not the cop thing. Mm-hmm. So I walk up to the front desk and I'm like, ma'am, I don't know how you're going to help me or who I need to talk to. But I found out a lot of information about things that are being put on me that I did not do. There's been a court case
that I was not there
for, nor had any information on. And that record is now sealed. So I'm at a loss for words, but I really need to talk to someone. And she's like, can I have the case file and like what about this letter? And I explained it to her. And then she's like, well, the officer who took that report isn't on duty today.
Of course not.
So we can take down your information and he can contact you when he's back on. And I was like, ma'am, I'm either going to talk to him or I'm going to talk to another officer. I was like, but I am not leaving. I am figuring this out. This is my name. I was like, my car's outside. The case doesn't even have my plates on it.
Mm-hmm.
I only drive this car. The insurance person is claiming I'm driving someone else's car, and I don't even know the person. He's saying I had the keys to the vehicle. I was just like, I need to report my identity being stolen because clearly something's not right here.
Mm-hmm.
And she looked at me and she kind of looked this way at the other lady. And she's like, okay, you have a seat. It's like, okay. And I waited and I waited and I waited. And I was like, you really want to go outside and vape? I waited. And 2 officers came out and they pulled me into this room, which was like right next to where I was waiting. And they're like, so this seems interesting. And I was like, yeah, you're telling me. I woke up and went to work this morning, and in that time frame found out there's been an accident that I was in. Insurance is looking into me. There's been a court case. I'm really confused. Guys, help me figure this out. And they're like, well, we can, like, can you show us the letter? And I had like a picture of it saved on my phone, and I like pulled that up. I was like, this person that they're claiming, the only thing I can find on Google is that it's an obit.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what had me like scammy.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, but then they like questioned me and my story and what I had gone through, and like over and over and over. And then one of them's just like, well, we need to like talk to the traffic ADA or whatever who did this case. And we need to talk to one of our sergeants who's on duty right now and see if we can get approved and look at the body cam for that incident. And I was like, okay, cool. And they're just like,
God, I love that that's a thing now.
They're just like, we're gonna.
Cams are a thing now.
That saved me in this 100%. But they were like, this is really weird coming from this officer who did the report or whatever, is like a 12-year bet with them. Mm-hmm. And they're just like, I don't understand where there would be the mistake. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, well, I don't either, but this is where I'm at.
This is your job.
My car is right outside. I'll walk you out there. You can look it over. There's no damage. I was like, my plates say something completely different than the car, than plates and registration to the court case. I was like, I don't know what's going on, but this is not, this problem should not be mine. Mm-hmm. Fix it. And they were like, okay, we're going to take down all your information. And I was like, okay, cool. And they're like, and we're going to give you a call. And I was like, okay, well, my shit's not going to be right until you guys call me with some shit. Like, mm-hmm. I need to figure out what's going on. And he's like, okay, yes, we'll check into the body cam footage and we'll give you a call. And I was like, okay, cool. So I went home and started making dinner. And the cop called me back. And he's like, do you want good news or bad news? And I was like, shit, at this point, I don't fucking care. Just give me what you have.
News would be cool.
And he's like, no, it's all good. It's all good. And I was like, okay, cool. What is it? And he's like, so we looked at the body cam footage and you were the Haileys that was on there. I was like, yeah, no.
Shit.
I fucking told you that. He's like, so this is the investigative, like the.
It would have been even crazier if it was your face out there. It'd be like, what the fuck is going on?
It was the night before I had taken out my dreads too, so I was back to like my normal hair. And then the day after it all happened, I sat there and I braided these in. So it's like, even if I had to go to the cop shop, I'd look like a completely different person. Kevin's like, why? And I was just like, I was worried. I needed something to do. Braid in my hair. So yeah, they realized it wasn't me, and I still had to go through a bunch of phone calls. The officer who did make the mistake. So here's where it was. Like, there's 2 different Haileys in this area. Mm-hmm. And when he went to do the...
He clicked the wrong one?
Yeah. So everything got sent out with my information and not hers. And I was like, well, is she going to be investigated? Because she clearly got this information and didn't do anything about it. And he's just like, yeah, no, this is my mistake. And I was like, yeah, no, there's more to this, but
I'm gonna settle on the fact that we all know it's not me at this point.
And that's how like he called and personally apologized and gave me his number to pass on to the agent who needed it, which is like,
that's nice.
Nice. I appreciated that, but it was just a pain.
Yeah.
And yeah. So that was my adulting. And then my car with the starter and the adulting and shifting birthday.
A lot of adults.
It was a lot of adulting this last 2 weeks. And it was it's got me drained. I do plan on going rollerblading and taking Opie on Saturday. So I'm excited for that. If you guys want to come, you can. Yeah, the thing, but then after. Yeah. Oh yeah, never mind. Never mind. I'll shut up. Play dates.
Yeah.
Anyways, so yeah, that adulting sucks and
I don't like it.
I don't like it no more. Especially with this cold. I've been heavy and I don't want to, and like Monday it played in my favor because all day it was hella cold and Opie's still at school and I was just like, I don't want to go. She wants to go. I don't want to go. I don't want to be doing this. I don't think we're going to do this today. And she's like, no, Mom, I want to go. And then Kevin was home for lunch and I was like, will you at least start it while I get ready? Car wouldn't start. And I was like, thank you, universe.
Your truck coughed this morning. Yeah. I went to start it and it went and then turned off.
No, mine was like straight not starting at all, but like my batteries were lit up, all the lights, that all worked fine. It was click, snoop, click, snoop. And it started on the one off for Kevin, and then I got it to work and shut it down for a couple hours and put some oil in it, and then went to start it up, and then it really struggled couple times through before it actually started, and I got it moved around the building so like it wouldn't be in aggressive wind all day. And then my boss totally jinxed me. Like my boss's boss, my manager's boss, the head of the company boss. He's a little spitfire. And he was like, he watched me with my car all day and he's like, you're all good to go for after work, right? And I was like, yeah, I should be fine. Like it started, I got it moved. To be good to go. And like 2:45 when I went out to start it wouldn't start. And I'm like, well, damn.
Well, we tried.
Like, well, I'm gonna just let you know the car didn't start and I'm just gonna leave it parked here so my husband can come look at it. And he's like, yeah, that'd be okay. He's like, I don't think I have jumper cables in my car, but one of the company vehicles has got to have one, or the gas station next door. We could get you jumped. And I was like, I really don't think it's my battery because it's all lit up. Yeah. And he's like, but we can still try. And then Brent's is right down the road. We all use them. They're great mechanics. So he's like, you just take it down there and have them look at it. I was like, okay, cool. And he pulled over and got it all hooked up, and I turned it over and it wouldn't go, and then I turned it over again and it slowly turned over. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go in and finish up and then I'm gonna take this to Brent's. Went over there and I was like, I don't know what's wrong with it, but it's starting real slow and I know it's got something to do with the cold, but it's not just the cold. I was like, Dan told me to take it over here. You guys look at it. Please. At least clean the terminals on the battery because he thinks that has something to do with it. And they're like, yeah, okay. And then they turned it off in the shop and then they cleaned up the terminals and started back over and it was really slow turn. He's like, I was like, well, at least it's turning. And he's like, it's still really bad. And I was like, okay, well, here's what happened in the last day and a half. And I explained, he's like, yeah, we're going to go talk to Brent. We did. And he's like, it's probably your starter. And I was like, okay, well, let's get that going. Cool. How much is that going to run me? And they're like this. And I was like, okay. Walked in there the next day and it was done, which was pretty nice. Left him a nice tip. And then he's just like, no, you can't do that. I was like, dude, you guys come in every week. order tacos and leave bountiful, abundant tips for us. I am not going to return the favor when I can.
For sure.
No, you guys take care of us. I'm going to take care of you. I walked in here yesterday not expecting my car back tomorrow, but here I am.
So thank you.
Thank you. Take the extra money.
So, wait, do you have your phone?
No.
Cool.
It's downstairs charging.
We'll just guess.
Yeah. We'll just feel it out today.
So,
I'm not as chatty as usual anyways, so.
It's okay. I can cut it up if it goes longer anyway.
Yeah.
So, I wanted to talk to you about something which you're relatively good at anyway, but I was thinking about, like, the other day, I was thinking about, like, when we become adults, we have to, like, get rid of some of our, like, childlike aspects of our personality to fit into the world that we have to live in as adults. Like, there are things that, like, to be a functioning adult, like, have a sustainable job and have a family and have, like, pay bills and shit like that. There are things that you have to kind of let go of your personality or things that you do as a kid to kind of fit in so you can sustain that. And I feel like there's a lot of adults that I've talked to that miss things about that, about themselves that they have, like either personality traits or like hobbies that they had when they were younger or like whatever, because they had to kind of put that aside to be adults. And a lot of people that I've talked to about that kind of are just like, yeah, but I'm doing something, like I'm being an adult, so that's not really that important. And I think that those things are very important to your internal happiness and your mental health for yourself, to kind of keep those. So I was wondering if, one, you recognize those, but two, like if there's any part of you that you hold on to or that you try to kind of feed that flame in you to kind of keep that, even though you're an adult and have to do things.
I have an awareness around it. I don't necessarily practice it wholly. Like, I find myself coming back to things more and more. Like, I'm crocheting more, and that was something I picked up in childhood. And just like wanting to have paint and like crafting things, or the ideas to have them, like origami. I loved origami as a kid, and last 2 years ago, I spent like the whole year just trying to learn different origamis, or a couple months doing it at least, until like the sensation, I got bored with it.
I would.
My muchness.
Yeah, that's kind of my point.
Yeah, I know that was what you were saying. It's like not losing your muchness, but I feel like the awareness of today, adulthood drains my muchness so much. And like there are certain spaces, like at work, I know I can goof off and be silly, and it's not going to be like ramified or judged any more than these women I already know and have known quite a large chunk of my life, that they're saying I'm weird, and it's not like to downgrade me or like outcast me in any way. They're just calling out what I'm doing. And yeah, in that moment, it's probably looking weird to them or making them uncomfortable in some way, but it's also like creating in that, like the intention within it is like to get them out of like the zhuzh of just being at work, and we're like standing there being bored and like just
doing the
twiddling
same
our
thing all
thumbs,
the
and
time.
it's just like, oh, a spout of music popped in my head, or oh, like we're busy and like rushing, but we're doing it. Let's have a little dance party, like, and it's just, I don't know, stim, I guess.
I there's things over time that I have done, and I think it's a little different for me because of other things that have happened in my life, but I feel like it's an overarching thing with adults is that, like, from my childhood to about high school, maybe freshman year of high school,
Yeah.
I really like knew who I was, like my personality, the way I dressed, how I carried myself, like jokes I would make, things like that. And then when I got further into high school and got closer to being an adult, I kind of partially was told by the people around me, but partially by, like, societal wise, I was like, okay, I'm not going to get a job if, like, I dress like this, or I'm not going to be able to, like, sustain, like, paying bills if I focus on, like, this thing I want to do as a career that doesn't really make money. I need to, like, focus on this. So, like, this needs to kind of take a back seat because I need to function as an adult. And the older I got, the more I realized that all of that pushing aside to be an adult, I kind of lost some parts of myself in that because I was more focused on, like, I have to be a functioning person, like an adult. And so, like, over the last 10-ish years, I've kind of pulled a lot of those things back into me because, like, they're important because they are a part of who I am, and they feed a lot of good and happy things inside of me as a part of who I am. And I've talked to other people about that, and, like, I've heard all the spectrum of it. I've heard, I don't really need that stuff anymore. That's for kids. Or, I would have really liked to try to do this thing, but, I got to be an adult. I have kids. I have, all this stuff. And it just kind of, I understand in a worldview. I understand, like, you can only chase the dream for so long before you have to, like, come with reality. Like, you know what I mean? Like, especially if you have, like, a family, you can't put them, this is an extreme example, but you can't put them out on the street because you want to chase your dream. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there has to be
there's a responsibility there.
Yeah, there has to be some sort, but I feel like most of the people I've talked to, it's one or another. It's either I'm an adult and really wish I could do all these things that really make me happy, but I got to be an adult, or it's the other way of, like, well, no, I'm going to keep doing all these things, and then they always have no money. They always can't do anything. They're always, like, not irresponsible, but, like, their life shows that it's not benefiting.
I feel like that's a take on priority, though. Like, when it boils down to all of that, it's where are your priorities? Are your priorities, like, on your family? And is that in making sure that's a whole unit? Granted, you should be doing independent things for yourself, but that can be coincide. Like, it might not be the big dream, but you can prioritize yourself.
That sounded like crying. I was gonna say that sounded like crying for a second.
I was like, why are they running up here? Anyways, but, like, prioritizing, because I still know plenty of people who wear many different hats. Like, they have the job, they have the mom or the family life, they have the work life, and it's different times in their life, but they're also, like, prioritizing what they're still building. And if you have a general, like, not general, but a good sense of who you are and what you want to put out into the world, you have an idea on what that goal or that dream is. It's not about, well, like, that fleeting passion or like twinge of a thought. It's a serious thought, and okay, if this is what I'm down to doing and it's aligning their life and perspective and priorities to shift towards that, so they're in action of doing that alongside.
I think
I feel like the priority of it just, it doesn't place anymore.
I think
We set it aside.
the real life practicality of it is what scares people when they become adults. Because when you're younger, it's you have ideas about everything.
Yeah.
Like you think like I have an idea, I want to start a business. I can just start a business.
Oh, well, right.
Because I just need to tell somebody this is a good idea, and they'll be like, yeah, it's a good idea, and it'll happen. But when you get to an adult, when you get into the adult space, I shouldn't say when you become an adult, but when you get into the adult space, you start to realize that there's more that goes into those things than just having an idea.
I think that's just
And I think that's what and I think that that's what scares people is like, for example, like well, I'll use being in a band as an example. Being in a band is a good idea when you're younger because all you're thinking is I'm just going to do something I love. I'm going to do it until somebody discovers or whatever,
We're not as
and
naive.
then it's gonna blow up, and it's gonna be great. But when you're an adult, a lot of more things start to come to play, like how much money it's gonna cost, how are you gonna get from town to town. If you have a family, they're gonna have to not have you around because you're doing this. How long are you going to be doing this before you get to a point where you're doing shows for 20 people to 100, 1,000?
Well, that's even thinking out if you've picked up an instrument before even deciding you're going to be in the band. Yeah. Or if you have the skills to do that. Because even that's like, I'm going to pick up a guitar today and I'm going to be in a band in 90 days. It's probably not a real reality.
Yeah.
Because of the time and consistency and patience it takes to learn anything is there, and we don't think about that as kids.
And it's the same as like making a business. Like I believe that the idealism of younger adults or children of the ideas they have to start a business and what they're not seeing in the world, and they're like, well, this is something that doesn't exist that I can make. I think it's good. I think that that's how we get a lot of things that end up being like big things. But I feel like when we move into adults, that idealism of just, well, this is a good idea starts to get pushed or stuffed down because we start getting overwhelmed with all that it takes to make that happen. And I'm not saying like people shouldn't go after their dreams. I'm not saying that people shouldn't put in the time, because if you do, it will work out. It's just, I feel like that's why a lot of people, when they become adults, kind of get rid of that part of them, is because it's too overwhelming in the real world of like, okay, I'm going to have to take time off for this. I'm going to have this amount of money. I'm going to have to get a license. I'm going to have to do this.
It's extra work on top of,
and they're like, well, I can stay at this job and keep making this and keep sustaining this, or I could maybe take a chance that may or may not work out. And I'm adding all this other stuff that I have to do on top of that to make this work.
And try and balance it with the life you already have.
Yeah. But I feel like that plays into personality too, to personality traits too, is that to sustain that when we're younger, we don't really, I mean, for the most part, like there's like the bullying aspect of being in school and like stuff like that. But for the most part, when we're in school, like I would say middle school and high school specifically, we are trying things out. We find our tribe, even if it is to just that time frame. Like we find our people that accept us for who we are. We're able to. I've said this example, like all of my friends in high school, like that whole scene era, like emo scene era, like we were all trying that shit out. Like we were all like, this is cool. Like this is what, like, and looking back, like if people were to do that now, like obviously they would be like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, why are you dressing like that? Why are you doing your hair like that?
Anyways.
But what I'm saying is like we had our tribe to where like we were like accepted in that of like, yeah, we're going to be this way or whatever. And then when you become an adult, you get told by whatever people in your life, whether that be adults or jobs or society or whatever, that like you can't look, act, whatever you want and fit into this thing to where you make money. Like and this is not a knock on people that work at like McDonald's or whatever, but like jobs like that, like lower version of like minimum wage jobs is the last jobs that we have, in my opinion, that allow that free form of like you can do and dress and be whoever you want. Because there's really no expectation, because it's seen societal wise as the lower version of being an adult and having a job.
Yeah.
But like even like that's one of the things that like blows my mind is that like I see people that work at McDonald's and they have like, I know this sounds kind of like an old person thing, but they have like different color hair and like hair done certain way and like tattoos everywhere, and they like wear earrings and like have like a whole bunch of that stuff.
On that now, though.
But like now, yes. But I've been working for 13 years, and just now, like other jobs other than that are more like, yeah, that's fine. So like people growing up now won't have that to the same degree, but like people our age like had to go to that, to where like you can stay in this job and be who you want to be and do whatever, but if you need more money or more status or whatever you want to call it, then you got to cut that down, because that's the only way you're going to sustain this. Like I was told,
I mean, that's a perspective of it, but at the same time, if you want to raise levels or vibrations of where you're at, you have to rise to that level.
And I feel like you have to, going back to holding that part of you, I feel like you have to feed that part of you in yourself to be like, no, this is a part of me that I want to keep. Like when I had the job that I did before, like I was constantly told that I was a supervisor, and they constantly were like, you have to wear jeans, you have to wear a polo shirt, like, and early on, it's gotten better now, but early on it was, you have to wear long sleeve shirts, so like minimal tattoos are shown, which is why I got the ones on my hands, because I was like, fuck you guys. But like there was a presentation of like, you can pack boxes all day, however way you want to look, but you're in this position, so you have to look a certain way. And if you don't feed that in you of like, no, these things are important to me, like this is who I am, like these are things that I want, I feel like you can get that individuality fire that's in all of us can get stomped out of like, we're just gonna plug into the system, and because this makes me money and this sustains my life, and if I don't, then I don't have a job. And I feel like you got to do, as adults, my personal opinion, I feel like as an adult you have to make a decision in yourself to keep those parts of you, no matter what that means.
I mean, yeah, but that's also like a part of knowing yourself and what you align with. If you're gonna sit there at that job and like go on signing on to that job knowing those are the rules and what they expect of their supervisors in place, like then you can either choose to sit in that place and make that money, or you can step out of it. Like there's nothing tying you to that.
Well, and that's another thing, is that I think that should be a more, I've said this, and I understand from like a worldview that like you have people that are going to use this as an excuse. But I've said this for years. I think that people at a job, especially like a corporate job, I think the, not excuse, but I think the statement of I'm not having fun anymore should be taken more serious for people at work. Because like it should be fun. You should want to go to work. You shouldn't be counting how many vacation days you are so you don't have to be at work. Like, if you have a job, and I understand that there will always be people that need to put the round peg in the hole. Like, there will always be a need for people. If everybody was like, well, I don't want to do this job, it's dumb, then there are jobs that are needed that aren't going to get done. I get that. But I think that even if it's a monotonous job, there should be some sort of like having fun or enjoyment of that job, or a culture that cultivates like, I know this sucks, but we're going to do this, or we're going to like do this thing to like raise morale or whatever. But people that go, I'm just not having fun at this job anymore, normally the job itself will be like, that sucks. What do you expect? You're an adult.
But yes and no to a degree. I totally understand that, because you're sitting here saying like the workplace should be the fun thing, but yes, but it should be based on the person who's aligning with that job. They should be like, if it's no longer fun with them, like fun for them, it shouldn't be the job itself that is the fun, or the workplace. Like, that could be boiled down to workplace dramatics, bad managers, like the whole lot. And that's such a spread thing around not even just corporate America, but all over, that it'd be a whole overhaul of a system. And in real terms, it's people aligning themselves and setting themselves up, like, and really looking at it like, okay, yeah, this job sucks. I'm not feeling it anymore. I'm not aligning with myself. I can stay here because the paycheck's good, or I can be uncomfortable for a little bit, work a little harder to go to job interviews and find a job that's better, or better aligned for me in whatever way it needs to be. But I don't think it's like work environment stealing our muchness.
I yes, it is up to the person, but I think that there needs to be some sort of conversation, at least in jobs, of, we're going to try to make this environment better for the people around
Well,
us.
yeah, should
Like
jobs be hearing
the this is what it is, so you can suck it up, I think is a bad management style.
Absolutely, and everyone is treated expendable, and that shows you.
But also, when you have, like I've told you, when you have those people like you who are like, we're having a rough day, come on, like things like that, as a corporation, I understand like there's a trickle down of like, CEOs obviously never show up to their fucking companies and see the people working on the line. Like, that just doesn't happen. But like, the people in those positions, instead of being like, we're all going to be this one type of person in our management, which trickles down to everybody else, see somebody like you, like that, and be like, she raises morale, she keeps people in a good mood, she makes people want to come to work. So we're going to put her, or at least ask her, to be in a position that will help the rest of that. So like, instead of like, let's say in a factory setting, instead of you sitting on the line all day, we're going to take you and put you in some sort of leadership that doesn't necessarily have to be like supervisor or whatever, but like some sort of leadership to kind of trickle down of like, okay, this feeds into everybody else. So this raises people's morale. So this makes people want to come to work more. Beneficially and selfishly, you're feeding yourself anyway with people like that. If you have people want to come to work, you have more reliability, you have less people taking off, you have less stress, you make more money. But I feel like there's some companies that are doing that, but I feel like overall there's still a mindset of like, well, we're in a company, so what do you expect? Like, you come to work, we pay you. So I don't understand what you're not supposed to like coming to work. That's not part of being an adult.
See, and in the job I have now, I've experienced all of that in a couple different ways. So we are a co-op. We have a bunch of different companies all bundled under one, and we have our office in our off of our restaurant. So our upper management always through our building, always talking to us. We had management for the restaurant shift in this last year to someone different. And the manager who took over, she like completely overhauled what the last manager was doing. But like in the shift we saw within it, just everyone lacked. And like the other manager had been in that position for a long time. Like she was riding it out for retirement. And the upper management, when we would bring the problems we were having to them because we couldn't talk to her about it, like they were just like, well, she's almost to her retirement. We just got to ride it out.
Yeah.
But it's just like everyone seen the difference just in the staff shift under the new management, and everything's been like tenfold better just with like our employees like not feeling like we're under tooth and nail. Like she was the type of manager where if something came out like a coupon or whatever, or like something we were bringing to like veteran discounts or whatever on Veterans Day, she had a whole spiel and you had to say it word for her, and they were her wording, and if you didn't, she was questioning why you didn't the second the customer turned their back. Or if like you greeted a table differently and said, hey, what can I get you this morning or start you off with, and you didn't list that we had coffee, juice, or soda options, she was questioning like why you weren't offering what we had, because then it gave them space to just order water. Well, they're going to order water if they want water.
Yeah.
Why do we need to tell them
other things like, that's what she wants? Yeah.
It's just like she was so nitpicky. And like I worked there before I had my dreadlocks. I quit under this manager a few times too, like just straight up walked off shit because of I could not anymore with her and what she would, just the situations. But it's like I was thankful for my job back. I don't know. She just had like, she was so against dreadlocks. Like I wasn't working there when I had them, and she like asked so many questions about it, but then it was just like a straight up like it would have never been a thing if you were working under me. And it's just like you can't
do that.
You can't discriminate me for the way I wear my hair. And like even after she left, like I started braiding my hair back like this, and like the first week it was like Melissa was just like, you're like, it's really cool that the CEO is off this week because I don't know how he's really gonna take it. But you know, do you? And I've been wearing them since. And like even one of the other managers, like upper management, came out and like saw the back of my head from across the banquet room or whatever. She's like, I just had to come out here and look, that looks so wild. You're so wild. And I was like, okay, I'm glad you love it. Thanks. This is it. It's pretty cool. But it's like one of the other girls, she's very fond of coloring her hair in all sorts of bright colors. And it's like, we're waitresses. That's but like we're not aspiring to go anywhere other than the waitressing floor. Like we make our money there. And like that's now, if I was still in caregiving, I had my dreadlocks then. I did that process while I was there. And it wasn't like I went to my HR and I was just like, this is what I'm planning to do. Am I going to hear any like
backlash
or problems with it from upper management? She's like, they can't. And I was like, okay, cool. I just needed to make sure like so that I'm aligning or whatever.
But like that for you, but that's kind of what I was talking about like holding that, like what's important to you in that, like as an adult. like that was one of those things you're like, no, I'm gonna do this. I want to do this. This is my thing. So like,
but I mean, if they would have said no, like at the time and space, would I have probably went through it? If they had said no, probably not. Because at the time, that job was my bank.
Yeah.
I didn't have any other options. Granted, I could be hired on somewhere else, but that job at the moment was like I really enjoyed working there. So it was just like, was it something I was going to bend for? Would I probably raise hell? Maybe.
Well,
probably.
And that's one of the things. And that's one of the things that I've said in the jobs that I've had is that there's a balance. I'm not saying companies should not have rules or like not a dress code, but like a thought process of like what you want to portray as a business. But I'm saying like there has to be some sort of give and take. Like at my job, I hate that. It fucking bothers me. I hate the polo and the dress shirts and the fucking I hate it. I think it's stupid. I understand the thought process of looking professional. I get that. Right. But like I worked in a factory on third shift. Nobody's there. Nobody comes through. Why do I need to look professional at 3 a.m. when nobody's there? Because why do I need to look professional for the company? The one guy that comes and cleans our sewers.
The management of the company at that point.
But for what it's worth, but that's what I'm saying in give and take. My manager at the time, which she was super cool. My manager understood that. I had to talk. I refused to be in leadership for years, even though everybody was like, you'd be really good at it, which I was really good at it because I'm a very people person. But I refused to do that for years because of that, because I'm like, no, like this is my defiance against that. But like the whole 10, 11 years that I was there, the first 4, all I was doing was packing boxes. So I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't in leadership. I was packing boxes. So because working third shift, nobody's there. It's the middle of the night. I started wearing sweatpants because I was like, if I'm going to be here all day, all night, I'm going to be comfortable. I'm not going to wear fucking jeans that are going to get super bad because we worked with meat. So they would get like dirty and like filled with shit and whatever. I'm like, I'm not going to wear nice jeans just for them to fucking get dirty in a shift. Like, I'm not going to, it's stupid. So I'm just going to wear sweatpants because I'm at least going to be comfortable if I have to be here every day. And so, like, when they started asking me to be in leadership, I told her that. I was like, that's not a part of my personality. I hate that. I don't want to, like, do the polo thing. I don't do that. And for a long time, she was like, well, that's part of the job and you'd be really good at it. And this is how, like, this is how you're able to make change that you want to make as far as environment goes and stuff like that. If you get into the position, but it's kind of like what you have to deal with to get into this position. And I was like, no, because I was like, it's fucking dumb. I hate that. And so I got into that position. I got into leadership, but I told her in our interview, which if our interview was recorded, they never would have put me in leadership because I had a rapport with her for years before that. So our interview was super unprofessional because it was just me, like, just talking to her, like, not how I normally would do an interview at all. But I told her, I was like, I just have I like the idea of this job. I like the idea of if I were to get into this job, what I would be able to do as far as like changing culture and like stuff like that. I just can't get over this. I feel like I'm selling a part of me to get this job, and that just doesn't sit well with me. And she said to me, she's like, I'm not trying to change anything about you. And she basically said the same thing to me. She's like, nobody's here. She's like, if you want to wear sweatpants and whatever and sweatshirt all day, all night, fine. I'm okay with that. She's like, the only thing I ask is that if somebody important comes, that at least have a change of clothes in your car and just put them on while they're here and you can change out of them. That's all I ask, just to cover my ass so it looks like you're playing the part. And so that kind of pushed me into being in that. And then when I became a supervisor, which is like higher than leadership, it was more often.
Mm-hmm.
And that really bothered me because I had many conversations with her. I was like, we talked about this. I told you. I understand you giving me the grace of letting me do this, but I had to go to meetings in the morning. My phone was always on. I had to answer emails even though I wasn't at work. Like, it was just stuff that I was just like, I don't want to do this.
Okay, but
And then,
but
then she even said that. She's like, when I was telling her about that, she's like, I get where you're coming from, and I'm not asking you to do this. She's like, if you're uncomfortable with this part of it, I completely understand. I'm not going to be upset. If like you're like, I just don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
And I even had a talk with, at the time, um, our director of operations, which was like the whole, like all three shifts. It was the director for the plant, which I had known him for years too. He was my leadership when I started before he like worked himself. So I talked to him about it too, and I said the same thing. I was like, "You've been here long enough. You know who I am, and like what I feel and what's important to me. And I don't think I can be comfortable doing this long term. I love this job. I love doing this. I like the change that I'm making because I was in charge of 3 different lines, and all of them, the culture and morale was high because of who I am. They all enjoyed coming to work. They all, in times where I needed to do company things of like, we're working overtime, mandatory, or we're working a holiday, you don't have a choice. Like things that sucked. Because of that, they were willing to be like, all right, I got you, because every other day of the week, like, you allow us to do all of these things. And it got to a point that I told him, I was like, I'm not okay with the compromises I'm making in myself to keep this job. And they let me, which rarely happens, I will say, in that company. They let me demote myself down to not being in that position, to a position where I was able to get back to why I liked doing that job in the first place. I got to do more things. I wasn't stuck in meetings for fucking 6 hours. I wasn't answering emails all the time. I got down to a position where I was just there and I got to do the things that I love to do. I got to work on machines. I got to help people. I got to do little minor things that helped the company, but not like all of it was on my shoulders. And I had a conversation with her after that, and I apologized to her. I was like, I'm sorry. Like, I know this puts you in a tough spot or whatever. And this kind of makes your life a lot harder because like you have to train somebody else to be in this position, whatever. And she's like, it's very rare that somebody actually sticks to who they are and what they're comfortable with. And I appreciate that you did and didn't let that.
Well, and that's the thing. That's what more people have to do. They have to see when it doesn't align and figure out how it can, like you did, or find a space where it's welcomed or where they're going to be doing what they like or are comfortable with in doing with themselves. I think over anything, and that's more of being aligned with who you are and knowing what you're set out to do with yourself.
But that's what I was saying before
like,
about like.
Hold on.
No, go ahead.
Like your key to like working is to fuel your lifestyle, right? And you want it to be something you like or enjoy doing, right? Because like me, I worked at the Shake Shop, loved what I was doing there, but it wasn't enough money, right? So it was hella stress on my family and my contribution and everything else. And then in that time frame, I moved to the gas station, which was more money, but it was hella stressful in some of the things, and it was more hours. And I boiled it down to coming into the restaurant, and now I'm working 4 days a week, which is a nice balance. I'm still able to pay my bills how I need to, and the money I'm making is good. And last year, I took priority in setting up our time, so it fueled us. Like, I prioritized us having vacations last year, and I set up the time frame for that to happen. And it's about looking at your how it's fueling your life. Like if your job is there to fuel your life and make it work for you, that's what it's there for, right?
Mhm.
So my job right now, I'm comfortable there. I enjoy the work. I'm making the money for it. And if I prioritize my happiness, how I want to spend my time around that, it can work, but I have to take that time to plan it. And last year I had done that and it was really nice. We had 2 camping trips with both sides of our families. We had a major trip across the states. Like we went down to North Carolina for 5 days with just our daughter. And then like we still bought a house. So it's like we really prioritized what we wanted to work for in that year. And I feel if more people sat down and did that, like, oh, okay, what do I want this year to feel like?
Mhm.
Do I want to have that rest and reset time? Okay, if I work a lot, what does my PTO look like? This year we have an abundance of holidays on like Friday.
Mhm.
So the Monday through Friday work life vibe, if you schedule your PTO right, you could have numerous times where you're only taking off that one day and having a 4-day vacation.
Mhm.
But it's more than just like signing up for that space. It's also looking at the logistics of it. So not the naivety that we were talking about earlier, with just diving in and being like, yeah, this is what I'm going to do. I took off the time.
Mhm.
Okay, so I have
So now
a
what?
goal point now.
Yeah.
I took the time off. What am I going to do with that time? Okay, I wanted to go camping this year. Where am I going camping? Get that planned and in the books. Get it down to where it's already done. So when the vacation comes, it's there for you.
And you're not trying to
And you're
scrape it
not
together
struggling to get it together. Like I think it was maybe 2 months of savings before North Carolina. That's all we took. And like maybe a couple $100 from our taxes. But like most of that money was banked and we already had it. And it was just the okay, it's coming up. We need to put $25 away every time I work. And we put it aside. And like Kevin would have extra money and we'd put it aside. And then when the trip happened, we had our money for it. Our site was already paid for. So logistically, it was gas, it was food, and us being packed and getting us down there. Like that was, and it was done. And it was not a thought. And last year went so nice. And then it boiled down to like even the thought of my birthday this year at landing. And it's just like I didn't even think about what vacations I wanted to take this year. So it looks like this year is going to be more of a working year.
Mhm.
Like I'm not really prioritizing vacation, and that's okay because in reality we have this huge house
Yeah.
that we're working to pay off, and still like budgeting and logistically like looking at what that range is going to look like this year. It works.
Mhm.
I'm not hard up on it, but it's just like the awarenesses you bring to those priorities in your life, those joys. If you need that work life balance, you're only going to have that work life balance if you bring awareness to it. I can be really like all talking about awarenesses and stuff.
Mhm.
So I've had PT and like pelvic floor appointments in the last month. And it's mainly for my overactive bladder because I've struggled with that all my life.
Yeah.
And you know this with my personal experiences, but I have a really bad bladder. Anyways, I started physical therapy, and she told me as homework I had to do like 3 days of tracking
Mhm.
my bladder just to like see how things were going. And like I got back to the appointment, and honestly my bladder wasn't acting up any of those 3 days other than like maybe an hour or two. And I was like, I'm bringing these to you, and I don't even know what to say because you gave me the awareness and knowledge I need, and now
And now it's fine.
I'm doing okay. And I mean, I still have like issues, and like we're diving deeper into it, but like just having the awareness being brought around like what healthy bladder void looks like, and like the capacity of our bladder, and like how as females like we're taught like the just in case go, just in case before we leave or we're in the trip car ride for a long time. I've been actively training my bladder that I can only hold like a quarter cup of pee my whole life.
Yeah.
So it's like if you wake up and start your day like that, and usually it's like I start my day, I pee, and then like right before I go to work, I pee, but then by the time I get to work, my bladder's shot and already provoked, and it's just like, well, you have anxiety because you don't know what work's gonna be like today, so you have to go pee. And it's like that spiral of it. So it's just like bringing your awarenesses around what you want your life to look like. Not that y'all needed to know about bladder problems, but it's like that was something my brain and body and mind needed to connect with, so it made more sense. And she's like, even if like you're having an off day where you feel like it's going, like you're constantly going, just go back to tracking it for a while and seeing what's really up, where you're at, because you're also measuring your water intake while you're doing it. So it's like, am I drinking water? Am I drinking caffeine today? Because caffeine is really sensitive for our bladders. So like, what am I doing to my body as well?
But in prioritizing, I would say.
But priorities.
Well, I was gonna say also prioritizing. I think that we as adults need to prioritize what's actually important to us.
Yeah.
And focus on that. Like if you.
Well, not
if working, well, I was gonna say if working all the time is good for you, like you don't mind it or don't care about it,
it's working,
then fine.
For you.
Work all the time. It doesn't really matter. But if you're burnt out because you work all the time and never get to see your family or never get to do anything or whatever, then you need to prioritize, okay, I have this vacation time, whatever, time off.
Yeah.
So I'm going to use that for this thing or to spend time with my family or to do this one thing instead of like, I need to keep being on the hamster wheel. I need to keep going. Because bills need to be paid and bills need to be paid.
Yeah.
I started doing this for the last 4 years, since right before my 30th birthday, that for years I had not taken my birthday off. I had worked through my birthday because it was always in the middle of the week. And so like I shouldn't say never, I rarely got like that, have friends together and like have like even if it wasn't a party, like just enjoy like that, having a birthday. Like the simple things of like, when you're younger, like your birthday is a big thing, like for the most part, like you have like a party and like your friends. There are people that don't get big birthdays. I'm just saying, like for the most part, when you're younger, like you invite the kids in your class or you invite like your friends or like your parents throw your birthday party or like whatever. And that's a big thing because like you're celebrating, it feeds internally that it's a happy occasion. Yeah. That it's a good thing.
Setting us up for failure as adults.
And then when you become an adult, not only do you you don't have people to plan that for you, but like your friends are busy. They have work, they have this, and then you kind of get in that lull of like, I hate this statement, but people are like, it's just another day.
Oh, that's
it's not that big a deal.
Every year.
I know. It's not that big a deal. But like there's something to that enjoyment of like feeling appreciated, that people appreciate that you were born, that you're here, that you're alive, that seeing that your friends or loved ones or whatever acknowledge that like it's nice to have you here. And I made it a point right before I turned 30 that I had spent all this time working and working and working and working and working, that I almost never called off. I almost never used vacation, rarely, unless something were to happen. And I was like, you know what? Every year, I'm going to take the weekend. I'm going to take the day of my birthday, and I'm going to take the weekend of my birthday. And I'm not going to work. And I'm going to go out, and whoever wants to show up can show up. I'm going to enjoy my birthday. And it became a thing that really like reignited my, this is going to sound really bad. It really ignited my want to keep being here, if that makes sense. Like my enjoyment of like sustaining, like being here and like being around people and like this is worth it and like this isn't just a waste of time and like, oh, these people actually do care, or these people actually do acknowledge that like it's cool that we have this relationship, or like things like that. But that being said, about the vacation, like you need to prioritize those things. Like for me, that was my birthday because I miss that feeling of like that camaraderie when you're younger of like having a birthday party. But like even if it's like your children or whatever, like there are tons of people I know. I have family members that do that work all day long and almost never see their family and never see their kids. Their kids only know, well, yeah, my parent works all the time. But they're not there for little things. They're not there for baseball games. They're not there for, I had a really hard day at school. Can we talk about it? They're not there for any of those things because they're just working all the time. So prioritizing those things, if that really is important to you, spend time with your kids or to have that relationship or whatever, then setting aside that time of like, you know what, I'm going to take 1 day a month or whatever. And I'm going to take my vacation and we're just going to hang out at the house. And I'm just going to spend time with my kids and we're just going to do that thing. Like, I think using those priorities in that job setting is important because if you don't, you lose a lot of like, you'll get to the finish line and you'll look back and you'll be like, oh, I missed this and this and this and this and this. And it's all regret instead of, I may have missed these couple things, but I got this and I got this and I got this because I prioritized that this was more important than making all the money in the world.
Yeah.
Or working all the time.
I think that's a big shift we find in our 20s.
Yeah, and I think that's a good.
It's
I
like
think it's
we
a good
have
thing
to
that
find out who we are and like shift our priorities into what that looks like so we can live that life. And that's always changing those too. Your priorities are always changing depending on what you're going through and what's.
Well, I think a big thing, in my opinion, from working in a factory for fucking 11 years, I think the question from a management of, well, why do you need this vacation is trash, in my opinion. I think if it's a last minute thing, like if it's like a I'm leaving in the middle of the shift sort of thing,
yeah,
I totally get it. I totally understand you need to replace that person. It's mid shift. You have things going on. I get that. But if you have like vacation that you've earned, I shouldn't have to give you a reason. I shouldn't have to convince you that it's good enough for me to take this.
And no, another perspective on it though, when you have a company where you're running 300 employees, and you need how many employees for the day or the shift, right? And half of them request off for that one day. They have to go through those and figure out whose was in first, or they should, at least as good management, whose was in first, like what it's for, and try and prioritize like in a balanced way why or who and what reason that is going across.
I understand that, but that thought process, I feel, and I've seen it in real time, that thought process turns into who can come up with a better excuse, not the honest one.
I mean, yes.
If you have 5 people that request the same day off, I can say I'm really burnt out. I want to spend time with my kids. And if somebody, not saying if it's real, but I'm saying I've seen this happen, where if I say I'm burnt out, okay, this other person says I have a doctor's appointment. This person's not really that important. I am. But this person sees that I'm going to get off and says, my grandma's in the hospital. She's going to die tomorrow, blah, 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 whatever. And that person gets off. Because they know that if they don't have a good enough excuse, they're not going to get off. Not an honest one, a better one. And that.
But that's not PTO.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's not PTO. That's not planning around it. That's on shift or right before shift, who's calling in and whose excuse is better. That's two different things.
No, I'm talking about PTO. I'm talking about this is how this has worked. If you have 5 people that put in PTO on the system or whatever, and they say, let's say it's Monday, they say they want Friday off.
Yeah.
Right? You have 5 people that put in for Friday. Can't have all 5 people off.
Right.
I've seen management, instead of, you can't give all 5 people off, so why do you need this off? I need it off because I'm burnt out. I need it off because whatever. In that, people find out this person's going to get this day off. You're not going to get this. Or, man, I've seen management straight out say, you can't have this day off because that person needs it off already. We'll come back with, well, my grandma's in the hospital. She's going to die in a couple of days. So I need to have this Friday off because I need to take her. And they'll be the one to get the day off because their excuse is better.
But that's on bad management not following the rules, and that's not the system itself.
I agree, but I'm saying that's what I'm saying, though, is that when you get in a culture of, I need to say the worst excuse or they're not going to let me get off, I think is dumb. I think if you have PTO, it shouldn't be on you to make the company feel better that you're going to leave.
No,
they should be able to figure it out, just like every other company.
Exactly.
You should be able to take your time for whatever reason because it's your time you've earned. You shouldn't have to give me, my grandma's in the hospital. You should just say, I'm using my PTO for this day. I'm sorry that you're going to have to find somebody else to replace me. I will not be here this day because this is my PTO that I'm using.
No, and yeah.
And unfortunately, that's not how it works.
I don't know. No, we have a system at work. It's like we have to request off, but it's also stated on every schedule that only 2 people can be given off per day or whatever, like depending on what it is or whatever. And anything that's already on the schedule, the employees have to find coverage and awareness of shifts switching and whatever if they need the time off. But I've been in places where you can't call off work. You have to find someone to replace your shift or show up. And that's a whole different thing. But we're tandeming in so many different spaces.
Tandeming.
Want
me to check what time we got?
I do. I'm paranoid we're over.
Not paranoid. No, we are over. We're over by like 10 minutes.
Okay. So that's where we're wrapping, I guess.
Yeah. So, yeah. Thanks for talking.
Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for chiming in, Dylan.
Thanks for squawking.
Thanks for squawking.
Thanks for squawking.
Thanks for talking to me.
You're welcome. Thanks for shifting my mood a little.
I think that the birthday thing is good. I think we should work on that. I think that's fun.
My birthday thing?
No, my birthday.
Your birthday thing? Sure.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun.
We could plan that. We could.
I think it'd be fun to just sit and drink and have people ask me questions for once.
We could possibly get Opie over at the other house. We could have it here.
Yeah.
Bigger house.
Be fun.
For you to Q&A. We could clean up the family room or something. Have you at a table.
Yeah. With a birthday hat.
Something. It'll be big.
It'll be fun.
Next year, can we try and make my birthday big?
Yeah, for sure.
I'm either I'm planning to do it big and just telling everyone to get screwed, or I'm telling everyone to get screwed and not say anything.
That's kind of
ignore me all day.
What's really funny is that I kind of had that mentality for my 30th.
Yeah.
I told Cheryl, I was like, I would like a big thing. That'd be nice. I was like, but if nobody shows up, it's fine. We can just go. And then she's like, yeah, I'm throwing you a party. Like, I'm getting balloons and the whole
I'm telling
thing.
you. Next year we're having a party. Okay?
Yeah, deal.
We'll figure it out. But
love you.
I love you.
Thanks for talking.
Thanks. Bye. Oh no, he's getting off the floor.